Welcome back to some Diablo 4, and if you're here, you're probably wondering how to get the best XP in the game, because let's be honest, Blizzard has kind of nerfed most options, and we're still trying to get to level 100. Right now, I'm 91, almost 92 in hardcore here, and I've done a lot of options myself. I didn't do everything, whether you were doing Ruins of Eridu, Moggen Works, Champion's Demise, all of those have been nerfed, or quotations here, normalized, because they said they try to normalize the mob spawning between dungeons, so all of them are roughly equal experience, but there are still some very optimally ran dungeons. The top two right now, in my opinion, but they do require, well, they don't require groups. One doesn't. One does. Champion's Demise is still number one in the game. That is just northeast of Durandai, west of Ruins of Karayisu. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So if you're in Kivashad, it's over here to the left. Champion's Demise. This is the 3-wing dungeon. It is still the best at dungeon XP in the game, but you need 3 people, and they need to be able to handle taking a wing to themselves. So if they're a little undergeared, it might be a little bit slower, but typically it's about a 3-minute clear, and it's going to be roughly, 20 million XP an hour. 20 to 19 million experience an hour. It's about a million XP a run right now for me, 900,000-ish, 950, and you do it in about 3 minutes. So it's definitely the best if you have 3. Now, if you're solo or duo, there is a really good option as well, and that is just near Ruins of Eridu, where it used to be. If you guys ran this one, this was really, really good for a while until they destroyed it. I mean, it was really destroyed. If you just go north of that to Blind Burrows is really good, but there is a problem with it. It's toxic lurkers. And now, not every class has an issue with these, but toxic lurkers are rough to fight. The poison in this game is insane, and I think it's partially because the resistances are so terrible and they have such high diminishing returns. So, in my opinion, if you're going to run Blind Burrows, there's an optimal way to do it, and this helped out quite a bit. Blind Burrows is about 18 million XP an hour if you do it well with a duo. Solo, you're still probably going to pull 12, 13, honestly. It's not bad. But if you're going to run Blind Burrows, I'd highly recommend you put in some purple gems, some amethyst, damage taken over time reduction. This will help a bit with the poison or the venom, whatever they use. On top of that, I'm also using extra poison resistance in my rings. Even though resistance is pretty crap in this game, it does seem to help a bit. And rogues get eaten alive by the poison. I mean, I heal a ton, so that brings me back up a bit, but the poison destroys me. So that helps quite a bit. Also, if you're a rogue, consider respecking a few points in your skill tree. I took a few points from down low. I'm running Twisting Blades from Adrenaline and Aftermath or Impetuous. Actually, I'm not running the Dark Shroud in this. I'm using Death Trap because Death Trap's really helpful for this area. But usually a couple points somewhere in here, and I was putting full points into Rugged. Gain 15% damage reduction against damage over time effects. It's only for this dungeon. Realistically, right? You don't need to do it for everything, but the poison hits really hard. And on top of that, if you're also doing solo, there's a new way to reset the dungeon pretty much instantly. I think I can maybe show that really fast. So if you were to do this by yourself, there is a reset now that you can do it with potions active and not have to lose your potion, along with it's much quicker because you don't have to log out. And that is by doing a nightmare dungeon. But you don't do the full dungeon. You start a nightmare dungeon, you do the first part of it, like the first objective, and then you leave. And then when you go back and then you go to this dungeon or in and out of any dungeon, it will reset it. So for example, let's see, I just went into Blind Burrows here. I'm going to go kill a couple mobs down south, right? Just a couple. I'm not going to complete the whole thing because I don't need to do that for this purpose. And you're going to see in the background here, I've already played some probably a run for you so you can see what I'm talking about, right? On how good the XP is. So let's kill a couple of these mobs. Alright, so we've cleared part of the dungeon, right? Let's pretend for the sake of this video, I've cleared the whole dungeon for you. I'm not going to waste your time with that. I cleared the whole dungeon. So the dungeon's over. I just want to leave dungeon like I normally would when I reset as a solo player. You leave the dungeon, you log out, and then you log back in. You lose your potion, and it takes a little bit of time, unfortunately. But because for some reason that you had done a nightmare dungeon, or you started one, and then you leave a dungeon and go back in, it should reset it for you. Hopefully it hasn't been fixed yet. It's pretty sick. It's nice. I mean, it's probably a bug, so it will probably be fixed. They should just let you reset the dungeon. There's no reason to punish solo players as much as they do. And you see the dungeons reset again. So it's a really good way to reset dungeons for you quickly as a solo player. Super, super helpful. But that's it for you. Blind Burrows is about 18 million. Like I said, Champion's Demise is about 20 million. There are a couple other dungeons out there that aren't bad, but in my opinion, they're not nearly as good as those two. These are really good for 3-man or 2-man. You can 4-man as well, but it's really unnecessary. I would say the minimum is 3-2, or you can do 1 in Blind Burrows. There is no great dungeon for a solo player. The next best option, in my opinion, is Forsaken Quarry. It's a straight line pretty much. It doesn't have much backtracking at all, and there's a decent amount of mob density. The nice part about Blind Burrows is that, yes, there's quite a few elites, but at the same time, there are just a lot of general normal mobs in the dungeon. So that's what really carries the XP of Burrows. So, hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. I appreciate it, and I'll see you later.